number 7 willow leaf, little Colorado in front of it. And normally for this situation, I'm using some type of a rib swim bait. This is the Zoom Z swim here, Kitech or whatever. But these rib swim baits on these big spinner baits really help create bulk on the spinner bait. Helps to keep them, where they can, slow roll them a little bit better without them, coming up. But I normally put, that 3.5 inch rib swim bait on as a trailer here. And another thing, guys, I do not like using a trailer hook unless I absolutely have to. It's been my experience when you fish a trailer hook on a spinnerbait, it reduces the number of strikes you get. This has been through lots of trial and error, watching lots of Jimmy Houston videos. And say, for example, if I'm practicing with a spinnerbait that does not have a trailer hook on it, if I catch 20 fish, if I put a trailer hook on this thing, the number of bites that I get is going to be reduced probably 25% or more. And so therefore I don't like using a trailer hook because you're slow rolling these baits. And see, these fish, it's not like, they have to dart out and get it. They have plenty of time to get it. Plus another thing about it is this is a big bait, so you got to move a lot of mass on it. And I just think that single hook helps hook those fish a little bit better. But this is my favorite scenario here. Now, the place that I like to use this big 3/4 ounce, 1 ounce with the big blade is either over some type of submergent grass beds in the pre-spawn, which I know there's not a lot of water like that, but if you do have a lake that has, submerged milfoil or hydrilla, this is gonna be a really good choice, slow rolling it over the top of that grass. But in traditional man-made impoundments, I'm usually slow rolling this big spinnerbait down steeper pre-spawn banks. So I'll get on those 45 and 60 degree angle rocky banks or even bluffy banks, throw that spinnerbait up to the bank, let it hit the bottom and just slow roll it, just like the saying says, slow rolling the spinnerbait, trying to keep it, just about, 6 inches to a foot off the bottom. You don't want to throw this thing in the mid part of the water column. I'm really wanting to target with this big one here, that water depth of sort of 3 to 6 feet on those rocky areas. So that's sort of what you need to focus in on. 45 degree angle cast to those bank, really good setup. Another thing on this big spinnerbait, it requires sort of a specialty tackle setup. I throw it on a flipping stick. Excuse me. Flipping stick with 20 to 25 pound test Seaguar and Vizex line. And the reason I use a flipping stick is this is a big bait. This bait weighs over an ounce with the trailer on it. But the main thing is when you get a big one, say you get a big 7-pounder comes up and gets this thing and smashes that wire down, you got a lot in the way to prevent that hook from getting in that fish's mouth. So a flipping stick will give you that extra power with the heavy line to drive that hook into